Now call to order the June 9th, 2026 North Carolina Capital Facilities Finance Agency meeting. If we'll begin with calling the roll, please, Cindy.
Good afternoon, Cindy Aiken, Assistant General Counsel for the agency. And so far we have, I'll start with Mr. Bowers because I see.
Sure.
All right, thank you. He's participating virtually. And Mr. Bowen.
Good afternoon here.
Also virtual. And Ms. Parker. I'm here. In the room. And Treasurer Briner.
Here.
Is in the room. That constitutes a quorum. Mr. McLaughlin is absent, but do we have Ms. Arnold or Auditor Bullock?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. We do have a quorum. The staff present at this time: Jennifer Wimmer, Secretary Treasurer of the agency; Melissa Dearman, staff member, soon to be promoted; Denise Canada, Secretary of the LGC; Kelsey Carmichael, staff; Eric Nesbitt, staff; and Lindy, MJ, and assorted others. All right. Meeting procedures are the same as always. We will use roll call vote for all votes. Your motions and seconds, members, will be considered yes votes unless you want to change your mind during the vote. Please try to mute yourself when you are not speaking. I don't think we'll have too much problem with sound in the room. Anything else? That's it. Proceed on.
Okay. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the toast to the North Carolina flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of North Carolina and pledge to the old North State love, loyalty, and faith. And thank you, everybody. Now read the conflict of interest statement. Please take a moment to review the agenda. Agency members are reminded of your duty to avoid conflicts of interest. Does any member have an actual or potential conflict of interest with respect to any matter on the agenda? Okay, hearing none.
I do.
There you go, Mr. Bowers.
Yeah, it's just a potential. I can't believe it's as significant, but I do own 1,600 shares of Wells Fargo and 3,600 shares of B of A.
Right, or something.
As underwriters.
Yeah, they're underwriters, and I can't believe that would have any effect on the profitability of the bank or my price of the stocks that I own, but I have to mention it.
This is Cindy Aiken. Thank you, Mr. Bowers, for mentioning it. I agree that is so remote, and you probably qualify for 2 or 3 exemptions on that. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yes, thank you for mentioning it, but I don't think you need to recuse yourself.
Mr. Chair,
Please.
I had not thought of it that way either, but I am similarly situated in that I have very tiny holdings in some of the banks that are noted. But I don't think anything I can do will help or hurt them.
Thank you for mentioning it.
Agree. Thank you for mentioning.
Never thought about it to that depth.
I suspect everybody who is a state employee theoretically has that same conflict, and the pension system also owns them. But I think it's de minimis, so I think we're okay. So let's move on to approval of the April 1st, 2026 minutes. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Parker. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers. Unless there's any discussion, please call the roll.
Okay. And just to clarify, this is the revised minutes that I sent out yesterday. I see heads nodding. Okay, thank you. Motion for the minutes: Parker and Bowers. Auditor Bullock is absent at this time. Ms. Arnold is absent. Mr. Bowen.
Approve.
Thank you. And Bowers is a yes. And Mr. Treasurer Briner.
Yes.
Thank you. We have 4 votes. Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. Let's move on to the debt approvals. I will hand it over to Jennifer.
Thank you. Today we have 2 debt approvals needed and up for consideration. The first one I want to point out is Elon University. Elon has been coming to the agency to issue debt for years. What this proposal is doing is letting Elon University extend maturities to the point of the other entities that are coming, either who have never come to the agency before or left to go to Wisconsin Public Finance Authority and are coming back. So basically just giving them the same opportunity as the other entities. There was a question about the banks because of normally if the lender is staying the same and they are just extending either the call date or anything like that, that's just a reported item. With the exception of the 2014 Bs, which went from Truist to Wells Fargo, which will need approval. All the banks remain the same, and they've worked with Elon University with the existing debt and their rate and the rate that will be set after this item is approved. I think, as pointed out, all of these series were issued through the Capital Facility Finance Agency. The original par was over 159 million. They will be basically refunding 108 million with a not to exceed amount of 109 to include some cost of issuance. If I could go to the next item for approval and then take questions. The second item for approval is the North Carolina Central University Real Estate Foundation. This is changing the trustee. So nothing is changing on any of the outstanding debt they have. Their bank is Truist, and what this is moving their trustee so that the bank will hold the funds for the debt payment. So they will have access to that. So it's a miscellaneous action item. Nothing about the transaction is changing except for the trustee or trustee name and holder. So if there are any questions, I can take them.
Yeah, I have just a question on this central one. What's the reason for wanting to switch the trustees?
The foundation and the legal counsel had approached us because it's easier when the payments are going from the central foundation to the bank anyways, instead of a third party, there's less of a chance that something gets crossed. So they are a holder, and that's basically what it was they're asking for.
Just operational ease, okay.
Correct.
Mr. Bowers?
Yeah, I just on Elon, I just feel like we need to note that both the original bonds and the proposed bonds are tender bonds, and that the rates that will be set will run till their respective tender dates.
We can make a note of that in the minutes.
That would be minutes or the LGC analysis. Either would be super.
Okay.
On the North Carolina Central University item, do we have an idea of the current balance of that reserve account?
No, but we can get that information to you.
And do we have information to know that what's in there currently is sufficient to meet the needs as they come up for the life cycle repairs? Is that, I realize this is about three questions in one. Is the amount, together with whatever scheduled future contributions, on track to meet the life cycle needs anticipated by the university for this item?
For Elon?
Yes.
Yes.
So, and that checks one of our statutory boxes. The amount on deposit really is more curiosity to me than anything else. As long as it's been considered and deemed sufficient, I'm fine. I do have an item on Elon University, and it's more of a Scrivener question. I've shared it, and Jennifer has already addressed it for me. But since these staff analyses are part of our public documentation, under the debt management section, the second clause seemed a little confusing to me. It's noted that debt management has been good. There are no deficiencies or defaults. I think the second half is intended to mean that we continue to have reasonable assurances of strict lawful compliant management proceeding forward. But because of the way it says none of this, none of that, or reasonable, it seems to mean the opposite. But Jennifer has clarified, Ms. Wimmer has clarified for us that is in fact the case, that it is in place appropriately. This seems to be sort of a template issue, the same language we're going to see on the Wake Forest one. But just for the record, I wanted to be sure that we clarified that everything is in place for their future compliance. Also, in the last line of the analysis where it says structure and term, we're only extending the maturities. That's the most important piece, but they are having to renegotiate the rates, and one is moving banks. So there's some other details that are changing, necessary to getting the most favorable terms for those maturities. So in terms of it being, it's accurate. It's just not as precise as we might like. And I just wanted to confirm that, and Jennifer did confirm that. In fact, Mr. Pauly was kind enough to provide a chart that Mr. Bowers and I both saw so that we could see what those rates and changes were. So there's, just to be clear, I realize this is one of the first we're going to get since this new policy is coming, and I appreciate Ms. Wimmer's indulgence in letting me take the red pen and pretend to help. So thank you so much.
You are helping, and some of these templates need to be dusted off. This agency hasn't been the most active, so thank you for the constructive feedback.
I have skills that need to be dusted off, so I'm all about it. Thank you.
Anything else on these two items? Okay, I will look for a motion to approve the Elon University and North Carolina Central University matters.
I would move approval.
Mr. Bowers, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. How about that? Spread it around. We'll call the roll, please.
Yeah. All right, to approve the matters for Elon University and NC Central University Foundation. Bowers, Bowen. Auditor
Ms.
Bullock.
Arnold's here.
Okay, awesome. Auditor Bullock absent at this time. Okay, I said hello, Ms. Arnold.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello. Would you like to vote?
Yes, approved.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, awesome. Ms. Parker.
Aye.
You, Bowers, and Treasurer Briner.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. Let's move to the non-action item.
So attachment A, miscellaneous non-action item, as requested at the April 1st meeting of the agency. We had not yet sold the Wake Forest University bond. So after the fact, the sale occurred April 14th, and we are now reporting back as requested that they did select the 10-year bullet and net present value savings of $7.9, almost $8 million, with a percentage of 6.54 for refunded and 7.35 of refunding bonds. So again, this is just reporting as was asked. So there is no vote needed on this.
Good. We'll move on to the resolution. Melissa Dearman as Deputy Secretary Treasurer of the agency. Cindy will explain.
Okay, this is Cindy Aiken. Nothing too complex here. Just we're going to have the resolution. We'll reaffirm. We want to do this just to keep track of our personnel when we store our resolutions. So number one So we're just reaffirming Jennifer Wimmer is the secretary treasurer, discharging me from being deputy secretary treasurer and electing and appointing Melissa Dearman, right there, next to Jennifer, as deputy secretary treasurer to be the assistant and fill in as necessary. And this will be much more efficient for our staff since Melissa is working on the matters for the agency. Any questions? I'll entertain them, but assuming not, I turn it back over to the chair.
Okay, I would ask for a motion to approve the appointment of Melissa Dearman as Deputy Secretary Treasurer of the agency.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Parker. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms.
Sounds like Ms. Arnold.
Excuse me. Please call the roll.
All right, appointing Melissa Dearman, deputy secretary treasurer, Parker Arnold. Mr. Bowen,
Approve or aye.
thank you. Mr. Bowers,
Approve.
thank you, and Treasurer Briner.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, let's move on to attachment C, which is the resolution approving the issuance of refunding bonds and notes. I'll turn it over to Jennifer to explain.
Sure. Attachment C is bringing the same resolution that has gone through Council of State and subsequently for the Medical Care Commission to the LGC today, and LGC for the authorization of, basically, this resolution would approve standalone refundings. So if an entity that has come to the agency before and nothing else changes other than they are refunding and want to make sure that they can get into the market and have that refunding done promptly, we would be reporting that refunding, such as Wake Forest, at a later meeting after the fact so that we could update how much savings they had and when they sold. But then the approval would come in this resolution. So they would not come back prior to the sale. We would report that afterwards. The local units of government have the same resolution. If there is new money or anything changing with the transaction, that does not count. They would come to the LGC for approval, same as with this agency. So if there's any new money or anything changing that is not just a standalone refunding for savings, those items would still come here. This is specifically for standalone savings refunding for the agency.
We've had this policy in place for almost a year now at
July
the Council of State and at the Local Government Commission. And we've seen a number of units use it to save a material amount of money. And with the volatility in the bond market being close to a high, we want to empower them to save money when they can. But of course, we don't want to allow them to reschedule their debt without the approval here. So that's what this does. We've seen it work pretty well in other venues and wanted to bring it here too. Any
I have a
questions?
question.
Yeah, please.
What aspects of the financing could change and still be considered, from your perspective, no change? So I'm presuming it would be with the same lender.
If it's a public transaction, they would just go to the public market. We would then report if they did change underwriters. But again, they would be refunding for savings. So the interest cost would always be decreasing. So there would not be an increase of any of that.
Okay. So it's similar to the one we just did as an example. That had a lender change. It had some minor interest rate changes to match the market and maturity changes.
So
Would
to your
it qualify for this resolution?
what would qualify if it was, let's just take it separately. One, let's say 2012 bond being held specifically by Truist. They've agreed on a lower interest rate. with Truist and there's no extension of maturity, that would count.
So it would only be an interest rate reduction
Correct.
and all other terms, maturity dates, bullet tender dates, all of that would remain the same.
Correct.
Understood. Thank you for clarifying.
We did have an initial question in this policy around changing amortization schedules, but keeping maturity the same. That is also a no. Just interest rates. That's it.
Yeah.
Mr. Bowers.
Yeah, section 1, is extreme, which Ms. Parker's been asking about is really important to me. It's really beneficial that we can take a very simple, straightforward refunding and give it expedited action. And it says you can't extend the maturity and that the savings have to be level. So it's something, it appears to me to be something very straightforward, and section 1 to me is very, very important. And I'm glad to hear that they'll be reporting back the results as Wake Forest did once it's actually done.
Ms. Arnold.
Thank you. Can you talk about, you mentioned there were other municipalities and agencies who had this policy in place. Can you just help us understand who they are?
We started with the state. So we put this in place for the state back last summer, and we used it at the state level to execute some refundings and tenders. At the municipal level, we've had several dozen at this point.
Yes.
So happy to give you some of those examples.
It's going to the LGC.
There we go. All right. So Chatham County, King, Sampson County, Monroe, Duplin County, Davidson County, Cabarrus County, Winston-Salem, Greenville Utilities, and Wilmington so far.
Thank you.
Of course. If you get some lower interest rates, that number is going to explode. We're going to see a lot of those.
Yeah, no, this is Marcus' question about transaction costs and how they're affected by this or considered within the analysis.
This is inclusive.
So it's really at the unit's discretion, as long as the NPV net of transaction costs of the savings is positive. The unit can choose what's substantial enough to make it worth the effort. What we typically see is mid-single digits percentage of the issue value in savings to make it worth it for folks. But for very small issues, I suspect that number is going to need to be bigger, and for very big issues, that number will be smaller. But it's always positive.
Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming it would be considering the interest rate environment gets lower, but just want to make sure we have that record
Absolutely.
of the consideration of transaction costs.
Yes, thank you. It's a good question. Thank you for asking.
Yep.
I have one other question. Given the parameters of this type of transaction, no change but interest reduction, this is something that would be right for staff placing on consent agenda and not needing consideration. It seems like it would be unanimous every time. Is that something that the staff intends to pose to us? And if so, should we
So this
check that box while we're at it?
So this resolution does just that. So it kind of preemptively puts it on a consent and approved for only those issues that would fall under this. So we would then be reporting it as a non-action item because this resolution would basically pre-approve anything that fell into that category. You would be notified and we would be tracking that debt just the same as we track every other transaction that comes through. So it wouldn't be like that we don't follow the sale and the payments and things like that.
Thank you for clearing that. I didn't pick that up from there. That sounds efficient to me.
Any other questions on this topic? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution which approves the issuance of refunding bonds and notes.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Arnold, please call the roll.
All right, resolution, one more time, the agency's resolution to approve issuance of refunding bonds and notes under the very specific criteria listed therein. Mr. Bowers, Ms. Arnold, and Ms. Parker. And you.
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Bowen,
Aye.
you. And Treasurer Reiner.
Aye.
You. Motion carries.
Okay, I will now open it up if any commission member has any other business they'd like to bring up. Hearing none, I would ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second. Yeah.
I will do this just by voice. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Have a good day.